Alright, piss and vinegar, day 31. Back and re-adults again. I've got my standardized training now, so I'm just doing 2 variations of back. I'm not experimenting anymore because I'm at the tail end of my cut. I've experimented with a bunch of different exercises and I found what really works for me. So I'm just going to be doing these standardized lifts, because if you keep like experimenting, you'll never be able to progressively overload correctly, because you'll just be switching out exercises constantly and you won't have focus. So eventually you need to be focused, and you should have some variation to override the biological law of accommodation, but you don't need that many exercises to do it. So doing the bent over rows, doing it with the 10 kilo plates. If you're not doing bent over rows or V-bar rows with small plates, you're missing out, because yeah, you'll lift more weights, like it'll be great for your ego, but it won't be great for the contraction, because you're missing like 2, 3, 4 inches of contraction. So yeah, you lose some of those. You change the plates to 10 kilo plates of the American 22 pound plates, get more range of motion, get a bigger contraction, leave the ego at the door. You should be doing these strict anyway. The only argument I would have again for not doing strict V-bar rows is in order to get like more of a stretch overload for your rhomboids. But really, you should be doing a unilateral movement for your rhomboids anyway, because when you do a movement unilaterally, you can do much more trunk rotation at the top. You can get a deeper stretch and a deeper contraction. So leave those for the unilateral rows. Do V-bar rows with those 10 kilo plates. And I mean, if you can use 5 kilo plates, even better. But the problem is I don't have that many, 5 kilo plate, or I do, but it just takes such a fucking long time to take 5 kilo plates on and off. Like I'm only doing 60 kilos here, but in the next like 3 months I'll probably be doing 80 kilos or so. That's just not feasible with 5 kilo plates. Anyway, moving on to wide grip pull downs. So this is the second standardized second standardized movement. Doing really wide grip. And it's funny, this manufacturer that makes these bars, they make super, super wide bars. So this is way wider than you see in a public gym, or in most public gyms. And you're way weaker when you do it this way, because you can't get the biceps involved as much. But that is the whole point. If you're doing super wide grip, your biceps and brachialis won't be the limiting factor. It'll be your back. So if you can find a super wide grip bar, get it, because Franco Colombo was onto something when he did those super wide grip pull downs and pull ups. Then I do a rest pause. Doing a bit of folding, a bit of OCD. So I do a 20-second rest pause here. And when you do rest pauses, you should be counting them, because people oftentimes do rest pauses and think they only did 10 seconds, when in reality they actually rested like fucking 40 seconds, 50 seconds. So should count your rest pauses, even just loosely, just to know that you haven't rested too much, because otherwise you'll just get a whole extra set, and that's not really the point of a rest pause. And then I go closer grip, just to kind of hit the lats from a slightly different angle. And then I do underhand grip, or pull a sort of a chin up grip or underhand grip to, again, hit the lats from a slightly different way. Oh, I fucking fell over. That was pretty cool. Clumsy. I've got some good reflexes. I caught myself. Yeah, underhand grip. This way you can drop set immediately and get more reps, or you don't even necessarily have to drop set, because with underhand you put your biceps more into the movement, which allows you to output more force. So now that the lats are pre-fatigued, you can now switch to underhand grip in order to get a few more reps with the stronger variation. So anytime you can do a variation drop set over a standardized drop set, that's the better option to take, because it's quicker and it actually allows you to hit the muscle slightly differently. And then I move on to some pull downs. I still haven't standardized these yet, however. I didn't really take into account how brutal the extra band tension was going to be. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make the band tension a little bit less. Because I was planning on doing 5-second concentric and eccentric, but with the band tension, that makes no sense, because the band tension is kind of, the idea of it is that you push quick and get a good squeeze at the bottom. If you're going slowly, you're not going to be able to really complete the rep because the band tension would then be slowly done, and you don't get to beat that resistance curve at the end. So a lot of fucking sciencey jargon right now, but basically bands equal speed. You can't slow bands down. So I'm going to do explosive concentric and then slow eccentric. So 1 second positive, 5 second eccentric from now on. But adding the bands to the pullovers is really good. It allows you to get that extra contraction at the bottom, because with this movement, you're always stronger at the bottom than you are at the top by quite a large margin. So adding that slight band tension at the end of the movement can really help. And the only experiments I'm going to be doing from now on is adding band tension to certain movements where the resistance curve is kind of shitty. Because obviously, if you don't have machines like, you know, proper Nautilus machines, you're not always going to get the best resistance curve, and you might lose, you know, 5-10% of the gains from that, which doesn't seem like a lot, but at the end of the day, 5-10% multiplied by 30 is like 3,000 or percentage or whatever the fuck the math is not the strong suit here, but you understand what I'm saying. It's the Kaizen idea. Every percentage counts. Anyway, now I'm doing a new movement that I haven't tried before, but it made a fuck ton of sense in my head. I've been doing my rear delt raises standing, which is kind of retarded. So I decided to put chest support there, and it felt way, way better. This way, there's no momentum. And at the end, when I fail strict, I start doing sort of explosive reps to get a few more reps out. So this is good because I don't have to drop set, I don't have to rest pause. I can just simply change the rep cadence from strict to explosive. And then I bring my arms in even further and do an extra drop set of face pulls. So altogether, this really crushed my rear delts. It felt good. And then I finish off with the rear delt, Dorian Yates rear delt variation. These kind of almost explosive rear delt raises rather than strict. It's just to try and like get a peak contraction on the rear delt with extra weight and sort of hit the rhomboids and mid to lower traps too. And that's it. Piss and Vinegar Day 31. See you guys tomorrow for more Piss and Vinegar. Bye-bye. Love you all.